6 o'clock. It's me, Johnny Fox, here with some more Fox Tales in this spooky season. Now, I always like to all treat, no tricks here, as always. Um, I, I thought about getting Elvira for you this week. I thought about getting you the Mistress of the Dark. Then I thought I could do you one better. I could get you a real live witch. None of this Hollywood poser shit. I can get you the real deal. So, for the second time, we don't mind. Let the neighbors talk. For the second,
Yeah.
the second time in quick succession, kids, Bal's here.
Hi.
They're all cheering at home.
Let me just raise the picture. How are you? Happy spooky season.
Oh God, it's floozy season. Floozy season. I should maybe rephrase that.
Oh.
But
The thing is, every season is floozy season.
yeah, I mean, but remember, look, I have some tissue. I sneezed. But remember, it wasn't that long ago. So somebody sneezed and everybody ran away like a Godzilla movie or something. No! And now nobody seems to care anymore. Hopefully, I'll survive. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, well, except for that. Yeah, you good. Busy as always. It's a very,
Yeah. Did you see?
You're everywhere.
A leading publication for the over 40s ladies, so viewers will actually be looking at it. Hello!
Hey.
It's a mainstream magazine. It's obviously I love being like in the specific esoteric publications and paranormal stuff for sure. It's preaching to the choir. I love it so much, but I feel like we're really making headway when it's in a mainstream knitted. Look at the adverts they have here. It's like knits and sensible clothing that are advertised here. And we've got buy one, get one half price for trips to Sicily. And look, a witch!
Hey!
Oh. Talking about spells and how I had to use magic to find my husband, which, it's fine, but I'm happy with it.
Yeah. So, kids, if you missed the last time Iqbal was here, you can go check that out on YouTube. If you want the origin story, it's right there. So we're not going to do that again. So what I'm going to ask you very basically, very simply, it is the spooky season. So with everything that you do, everything that you are, is there any actual sort of spiritual significance to this time of year, or is it all just made up to sell merch?
A bit of both, as always. The actual day, Halloween day, like November 1st, is the witches' New Year. So this is when we celebrate the final harvest. More on that in a second.
Okay.
And that's when the new year starts, when you have like the end of one full cycle, and nothing really starts for a few more months, but this is where the end of the year is. And it's not just something that was invented to sell plastic pumpkins. It is actually the Celtic New Year. So the word that witches use for Halloween, we use the word Samhain, Samhain. That's actually the name of the month of November in Irish. If there are any Irish speakers that can confirm that for me. My husband did Irish at school because he went to school in Dublin. And that was the Celtic New Year. So it's pre-Christian, pre-merch, pre-plastic. So there is this kind of misconception that Halloween is something that here in the UK we imported from the US via movies and TV and consumerism, but actually it's something that I don't want to say the UK because it's Celtic, but let's say the Isles, the region
Yeah, yeah.
actually originally exported to America in the first place. So here in the Isles, there wouldn't have been pumpkins to carve. And if you have a moment and you want to Google carved turnips, don't do it without an extra person in the house because carved turnips look so terrifying. Not like the sort of cutesy triangle
Yeah.
eyes, sort of funny face, big cheeks of the pumpkins. No, carved turnips. Wait, you have to see this. Wait. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. But this comes with a warning. Let's see. Carved turnips. Johnny, look.
Oh, that is terrifying.
Right? So can you picture that by your door? So that horror was used to ward off evil, ward off witches. Going all the way to America, it's where it kind of naturalized
Yeah.
and became pumpkins, but the idea is still the same. So it wasn't so much a celebration of witches, it was a celebration to ward off evil because the dark season was scary in ancient societies because there was a lot of darkness, presumably also very cold and rainy, but the connection to death actually goes via the harvest. Because you would very rightly ask me, even if you're not a farmer, you'd be like, what exactly do we harvest at the end of October in Val? What do you have? Look out at the garden, look at the misery, and tell me what you're harvesting. So you've got the three harvests in the year. You've got the fruit harvest in the kind of peak of summer. You've got the grain harvest where you get all the barley and cereals and stuff around September. And then you have the meat harvest. And that's when you take the animals that are not going to make it to the slaughterhouse and they provide the meat that will sustain you for the winter. So that is a harvest as well. And that final harvest is very obviously connected with death. And it also explains how we celebrate death at Halloween. Of course, we're not happy for anybody to pass over to the other side, but it is a part of life. It is a part of the cycle of life. And I don't know exactly where, for example, the Mexican Day of the Dead had come from, but I think it's a very interesting coincidence that it's the following day. So celebrations of death are not something that is just American or just European. Celebrating the different ages and stages within the cycle of life is something that is innate to us as people, as human beings. So that's kind of where Halloween has come from. Where we are right now with the wearing, with the glitter and the high heels and the trick or treating. But I'll admit, consumerism played a minor, major, huge part in the evolution. But the roots of Halloween are very innocent in the exact same way that the roots of Christmas are very innocent. But now it is a global festival of, capitalism and all the trimmings. So I see them as very, very equivalent in many ways.
Yeah, but it is when you if you take a minute and you think about these things, to think that however however much they've, shall we say, evolved, how much things have evolved and changed over the years, but years, decades. centuries, but we're still doing it. However far removed from those people in a lot of aspects we might like to feel that we are, and in some ways maybe we should be. There's a lot of things we can learn and do better, but there's a lot of things that we're still holding on to, even if it is somewhat subconsciously. Like, why are we still doing this? You know, because I mean, making money for someone, but like other than that, even taking that away, but we're still it's not making money for us, particularly when we just go out and you know it's a different form of celebration, and we're maybe not thinking in that same context when we're out
Exactly.
partying in the next few weeks, but we're still doing it. We still have that milestone landmark in all our lives that we all know. To think that it's sort of standing that test of time, regardless, it's kind of
Exactly.
crazy.
We still live on the same planet. So the seasons are still the seasons, or whatever we did to them with the, sprays and stuff.
Yeah,
But
it's going with.
the seasons are still largely the seasons, and there are towns and villages all through again the British Isles, that still celebrate May Day, for example, which is the exact opposite festival on the axis.
Yeah.
Um, which makes no money for nobody because what they'll have is a parade and maybe some maypole dancing, and that harks back to the exact same time. So within the witchy wheel of the year, we've got the solstices and the equinoxes, which are still the same solstices, the same equinoxes. So during the winter solstice, obviously we've got Christmas. That's hard to avoid. But during the summer solstice, I know that quite a few cultures still celebrate a midsummer. I know that in Sweden it's like 14th, 15th June, I'm like, close enough, close enough. I'm not, and the equinoxes are not exactly marked by anybody except for weather geeks. Shout out. But within the winter wheel of the year, you've also got the kind of axis dates. So you've got May Day, known as Beltane, and Halloween, Samhain. And then you've also got two festivals on the 1st of February and the 1st of August. On the 1st of February, you've got Imbolc, which is the time that the snowdrops start popping from the ground. So it's a nature festival. And for August, for the 1st of August, it's when you've got kind of the start of the grain harvest, and it's a celebration of Lu. If anyone has heard and or tried to spell the word Lunasaw, that's what it is. It's that celebration of Lu, the Celtic god of the sun, Lu of many skills. So all of those days that we see in our agriculture, that we see in our timekeeping, that we see in the sky, are still exactly the same as what they were. The comet that we've got, total tangent, but the comet that we've got over us at the moment,
Yeah.
the last time that comet was seen near Earth is 80,000 years ago. 80,000 years. So what we're experiencing will echo things that people and dinosaurs of past generations have experienced. And if that doesn't make you go nuts for nature and go nuts for, celestial changes, I don't know what will. I don't know. I give up.
Yeah. Let's go. That's get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Go nuts for celestial changes.
I
That's
love that
pretty,
your idea of shouting something out is probably the most realistic. Sell it, slogan
sell
it,
it.
sell it. Maybe register it so that people who use it will have to pay you
Yeah.
something.
Kids understand these days. That's how you get them in. You can't just you can't just come on here and tell them this shit for free, right? There's this. No, I've been having these conversations a lot where people because I don't monetize this. in any way, and I feel like I'm probably never gonna. And it's not like I'm not good enough. Oh, woe is me. It's like I'm just not. Why would I? You know. But why shouldn't I? I don't. Whatever. But people said there's a very to me because I don't get it. I say it's just because I'm an old crusty punk hippie type or whatever. But there's like this backward logic. Like if it's free, that it must be rubbish. Like,
Yeah.
but if you've got to pay for it, then it must be good. And like if I charge people for it, because I'm thinking of trying to turn this into some kind of actual like live stage show kind of thing at some point. I've said too much already.
Oh,
Yeah, I could tell you more, but then I'd have to kill you. No,
I
but
don't need you. You think I'm scared?
so and I'm like, but the conversations around like ticket prices or something, and I'm like, ticket, fuck that, no, well, what's the patent? And it's like no, because if you put on a free show, no one will come because they'll go, oh, it must be crap. They're not even charging, so it
Yeah.
must be rubbish. So you've got to charge. So yeah,
Yeah.
put it
That's
on,
the
put it on a
people.
t-shirt, put it behind it. If you
People
want, in fact, that's it.
value.
No, in
That's what
fact, we're done. I'm calling this up. We're done. If you want any more kids, it's $5.99 a month. No, we'll ramble on for a little bit. Yeah, for
Yeah.
free, for
Yeah.
free.
No one.
But yeah,
No.
it's a crazy backwards logic world we're living in, I think.
Put it on a t-shirt if you must. Absolutely. Everybody likes t-shirts. They're good for all the ages.
And speaking, so what's? Do you have a favorite time of year?
Yeah, I'm a real summer person for what I enjoy. But the days that are like the witchy days that are the most exciting to me are the equinoxes. I I am completely blown away by the fact that you can have one day that sunrise and sunset will be sort of exactly the same length apart as sunset and sunrise. I don't know what it is about it, maybe my Libra rising, but I find the equinoxes to be so exciting. I look at the sunset and it's not even going to be like 6 p.m. because they could be like with the British summertime, they might be completely off. Um, but I find them really, really exciting. I also find the solstices very exciting, just a little bit less, but I'm exactly the same. Like if normally on winter solstice, I'll be on some, outing with my kids. So we'll be driving back around sunset. I'll be like, 4 p.m. and I'll think, wow, that is the earliest it's going to be. I know I make myself sound so boring, but I find it truly inspirational. And then the summer solstice sunset that is so late. So I run a lot. So if I leave, say at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. for my run, I suppose any time after September, it's dark. Even if I leave at like 6 or 7, it's dark. But in the summer, I can see how the days get longer and longer and longer, and then suddenly it kind of tapers off, and then so I'm completely blown away by it. I feel like maybe I wasn't even from this planet because the way that I react to it, like it's not really like the norm, the most ordinary thing. But yeah, these are like my favorite moments, my favorite times. But I'm a summer person just because I hate being cold. What are you? What season is your season?
Well, oh god. Well, it would be around now. It would be kind of the autumn-ish kind of thing. Because I like the sort. I like the somewhere in between. I like kind of the sort of mild sort of times. Like, if you're gonna get me out on a walk or something, there's some decent sort of rivers and canals not a million miles away from me. Some nice places. If you're gonna get me out, yeah. I don't like. I don't do. I'm an honorary ginger. I always say I don't do summer. at all. It's just uncomfortable and sticky, and I don't have half as much fun as most people do. But yeah, I also do not want to stand around shivering um, either. So yeah, somewhere in between is good. But all the places that I would like to visit, all the kind of bucket list places I would like to travel because I've not done anywhere near enough travel in my time yet, uh, are all freaking cold places,
Yeah,
which is
really.
strange, which is just pure coincidence.
Yeah. What places would you like to go to?
Oh well, I mean, actually, Russia. Forget about politics. Russia
Nobody's
always seemed
in
like
politics,
a
yeah.
pretty nice place. Iceland, uh, Canada, also not. It depends what time of year, but So yeah, I've got a few like that. Not so much. I mean, I always want to see the pyramids, like don't we all? But,
Yeah.
but uh, I'm kind of getting over that as I've left it later and later and later to do that.
I've got, I think, potentially a good guest for you on that. Um, I'm serious. I spoke to somebody yesterday. She's a spiritual life coach and a very fascinating lady. And she gave me a blow-by-blow account of her time in a pyramid. And you have to hear about it. I think it'll reignite
I
all
would
the.
think because it's also because like our grandparents went like forever ago, and they couldn't go in, but there's photos of them. They've got their hand on the wall outside, and that was inspiring and amazing. Um, Good
Ah,
enough for me. And between vandalism, tomb raiders, and general weather erosion stuff, now there's like scaffolding and fences, and like I believe I'm under the impression the kind of best view you're gonna get is on the kind of boat trip down the Nile, which is still no doubt ridiculously impressive and pretty fucking awesome. Uh,
that's the thing. It's the same Nile. It has been there for, with before the comet, for tens of thousands of years. So if
yeah,
you're going down the Nile, you're echoing people that have gone down the Nile thousands of years before, tens of thousands of years before. That is exactly that connection to previous generations. And I find that so exciting. And that's why even just putting your hand on a pyramid
yeah.
gives you that, that connection. Somebody put that stone there. Maybe many somebodies because they're very heavy. It's not going to be just,
Oh,
you know,
who knows? Aliens.
Ali from around the corner, he put that stone on. No, no, no. Him and, 58 of his cousins.
So
Everybody together.
it's a runway for alien spacecraft.
Also good.
It
Also
is.
fun.
Tell your kids, Van Daniken was right. Um, I don't know. We'll probably never know. But that's also just what makes it amazing to be here, right?
I think
Things like that.
so. Yeah, I think it's really interesting that you sort of dream of all the cold places because I'm a very heat person and my dream destinations are like India, Thailand, places that are sticky, not just warm, but sticky. And that is such a dream to me. My best friend, like my best friend from childhood, before she married her husband, they traveled all around India together, and then they spent 1 month just going around Sri Lanka on a little motorbike, and and she shaved her whole head because she said, it's so much easier to just sort of travel with one,
Yeah.
so you don't have to bother with shampoo. So even with no hair, it still sounds like such a dream to me. It's still sort of such a I don't know, such a otherworldly experience, and yet super, super worldly.
Yeah. I mean, even what little traveling I have done or what traveling I fantasize about doing, regardless of my personal lack of growth in that department. But when other people want to talk about whatever holidays they've been on, and I'm always like, it's fucking wasted on you. You know, but people don't like, especially the British. I think we're one of the worst.
Bad travelers.
Sorry, British people. That kind of like, oh, where did you go? You know, wherever. It like, and it's like, it would be lovely if it wasn't for all the foreigners. And it's like, oh my god, you know, that kind of. I mean, I'm being pretty extreme, but like it was very like you don't bother to learn the language, or people will go on holiday to some glorious exotic location, and they just want to find the most English part of it, where maybe some expats have got a bar. You know, they want to find where the McDonald's is or something, and it's like there's a whole other culture out there, art and music and writing and architecture, and you know, and stay home then, go to Butlins. Why? Oh,
It's horrible.
wasted. That could have been me.
Yeah.
You could have
Well,
bought me a ticket instead.
see, exactly. Start charging the tickets and, you know, convert them to a plane ticket.
Yeah, I mean, even just popping over to Spain, which people do very regularly, take it for granted. And but I was like, no, if I don't kind of hear some old, you know, leathery skinned, you know, super tan Spanish guy playing that flamenco guitar in the gutter like he's not even trying, but he's just, you know, mind-blowingly awesome or something. That like that's the Spain I want to see, you know? Not,
Amazing.
you know, just high-rise buildings and a Burger King, you know? Like Sheffield by the Sea, great. I'm not like take me to the real country. You know, I'm the guy that you know probably get in serious trouble trying to get a guy to show me the real country.
Yeah.
That might not actually want me there, but hey, well, I'll jump off that bridge when I come to it. But it's like not learning the language, at least some basics of, you know, hi, hello, how are you? You know, where are the toilets, please? You know, like it's the least you can do. It's the very least you can do. You can learn most of that in the time it takes the flight to get there, you know?
With the Google.
But how did we ever have an empire? We're so fucking backwards.
I'm, I'm not from here. I don't want to take away. Me, I love the culture.
Anyway.
Because this to me is different. So this is, you know, this is exciting.
I see. So also, I mean, I guess there's a kind of grass is always greener aspect for a lot of people. Wherever most people's homeland isn't always their favorite place, unless maybe they get leave and then maybe they realize what they left behind. I know that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you look back through those rose-tinted spectacles. But yeah, that's a complicated
but
one.
it does. I don't want to shit on this green and pleasant land at all. Not really. But it does baffle me sometimes when people from what to me seem like very cool, exotic, cultured places when they want to be here. It's like, but it's grey all year round.
As somebody who sort of came from abroad, there is so much I adore about living in the UK, and you'd be shocked to know that the people are a part of it, because in the UK you get something that you don't get as much in kind of Eastern cultures, and it's that people let you be. There is a good number of quirky people that are just allowed to get on with their business being quirky. Being quirky in a more kind of close-knit, close family society is a challenge. Even something as simple as, say, you know, being single. Over there, over there. Good luck staying single. You'd be set up. You'd be set up with somebody for a lunch date and for a dinner date until you crack. Whereas here, you're allowed to be single. You're allowed to be whoever you are. So that's sort of one thing that I adore about British culture. That the quirkier the better, but also it is so quiet and peaceful when you come from like really noisy places. And I know that when my dad comes to visit, he just he sleeps for hours because there's none of the regular noise to
Yeah.
wake him up.
Yeah.
So
It's,
yeah,
it is.
that's
I
just
mean,
the perspective of somebody that sort of made that switch that to you looks completely perverse. There is there's always beauty. I think there's beauty in every place. There's nowhere that is devoid of charm. But when you're really close up, you don't have the perspective to see the beauty of where you are, which is exactly like how you described is why people end up potentially boomeranging.
which I'd like to think is exactly why most women keep such a large distance away from me, because then they get to see me at my most beautiful.
Yeah, see,
That's what it is.
perspective
I'm not.
is
That's what it
everything.
is. There you
Perspective.
go. It's educational and entertaining as always. Hey. Um, to which end, last time we did play a bit of this or that before we were rudely interrupted. I don't know what happened there. If you missed it about last time, kids, we got talking about aliens and then got cut off. Right? I mean, make of that what you will.
Yeah.
Right? I'm saying nothing. All I know is we were talking about the potential of intelligent life, other places, the vastness of the infinite universe itself. And then we got cut off. There was a knock at the door. There was some incredibly well-dressed, I assume, Jehovah's Witnesses with very flashy cameras. And that's the last thing I remember. It's all a bit of a blur after that. There may have been a big-eared, dark-skinned gentleman and an older white guy. It's hard to remember, but there was something, and then it was all. But I have a few. Maybe slightly more seasonal. Well, okay.
Right. Rolling
Slightly,
up my
slightly more buying into the merch selling aspect of this
yeah.
this time of year when people get around to watching this. So instead of cats or dogs, which I usually do, bats or rats.
Oh, bats for sure.
Oh, I
Bats
love
are.
bats.
We have loads of bats out here. Rats, absolutely not.
Yeah, I know. We have both. We have some big ass rats. I mean,
Really?
I'm a small man. I could probably ride one up the street.
Oh,
They are huge. Oh, it's not their fault that they could cause us harm, us problems. They pass on, but as an animal themselves, their intelligence, they are incredibly intelligent animals and all that, and I love that. And it's anything like I guess a bad rat. People don't like snakes, rats, all the usual suspects, spiders, whatever. Not saying I necessarily want to cuddle. I'm not a tarantula cuddler as such, but I try and be like they're not really doing anything wrong. They don't really mean me any harm,
yeah.
and I know they are a very smart animal. So I like, but bats. But bats. We also have at least. I've been out with the bat, learned the bat detector, and we have at least 4 different species.
Mm.
There's there's a really good feeding ground. There's like a canal basin and some overhanging trees, and when the moths or the water skaters when the larvae comes up at a certain time of year, it's just amazing. Get that time of that as as the summer's just drawing to its close. So as you say, when you I don't run. I'm very much an indoors kid, right? Um, but you'll get me out of the house at that sort of that
Yeah.
between 9 10 o'clock, that's at a time of year, and dusk's falling, and they all come out to feast, and it's a wonderful sight.
Uh, um, we don't have like big clumps of them, but when I run, then I'll be able to sort of see one fluttering from one tree to the other, and obviously hear
Yeah,
them.
yeah, and
Yeah.
if there's one, there probably is a hell of a lot more not far away. It's
Yeah.
yeah. So, black or purple?
Purple,
Yeah, purple.
purple, purple, purple.
See, purple, and and I mean Prince. Come on,
Oh, yeah. I
right?
don't get it. I'm so sorry. I think it's because I'm not musical, but I don't get it at all. I remember Prince when I was small, and I crawled up to my dad's bed, and he was sort of watching TV, and I said to him, "Who is this ugly man?" And he laughed. And he's like, "This man calls himself Prince. Do you know what Prince means in English?" And I was like, "What?" So yeah, I don't really get Prince at all. I understand. I am told by reliable sources that he's a genius, and I accept it. And I know that he discovered Carmen Electra, who I think is very cute. That is pretty much, as far as it goes. And I
And
like purple.
I do hope his legacy to the world is a little bit more than finding Carmen Electra. I'm sure she's lovely, but anyway. So, so what's scarier, clowns or zombies?
Oh, no, I'm not scared of clowns at all, but I'm not super scared of them. I'll put zombies because I'm sure that the clown phobia is very, very terrifying for people that experience it, but I can't see what it is that's so scary. Zombies, I'll tell you, just a year ago, my friend Chrissy dragged me, offered me her +1 to go to what do you call, like, a real life Halloween experience where you've got like
Right.
you've got kind of haunted houses and people jumping at you. So it's like the girl from The Ring, with the
Yeah,
dress and stuff.
yeah.
And there was like, zombies and stuff like that. So, we're not mentioning politics, but it happened to be the day after the massacre. So I was like this anyway, anyway. But we were walking, kind of holding hands through all the sort of terrifying things. And she kept turning and she's like, "You are made of stone. You're not even I'm holding your hand and you're not jumping." And she's an actor. So she was like, "Ah, ah." And I am not. I'm a mom of four. So
Well,
so I was like, ah, and she filmed some of it, and you can hear me screaming in lowercase in the harder parts like this. Ah, so when I was a little scared, I did make a little noise, but not a big one. And that was with loads of zombies around. So zombies are to me a little scarier, but still not, I suppose, as scary as I'll give you an example. My son's headmaster called us because the shoes are not appropriate for uniform. That's a conversation I do not want to have. I will take a posse of clowns and a gaggle of zombies over having to speak to the headmaster.
yeah, yep. Okay. Oh, what we got here? Okay. If you had to live, if you had to go and live with one of these famous families, which one are you moving in with? The Adams or the Munsters?
I don't really know the monsters very well, but I love the Addams family. I love the Addams family. I love the Addams family, the Angelica Houston and Raul. Uh,
Oh, Julia.
yes. Wait, no, is that two different eras? Who was with Angelica Houston?
I said,
Is
no,
is Raul?
wait.
No, no, no. It's
Ah.
John Aston. John Aston. Was it John Aston? No, John
Oh,
Aston is a different. But yeah, the Angelica Houston one, the Adams Family movies from the 90s.
yeah,
I'm going. They're such a loving family. I love them. They really care for each other so much as a
they do.
couple.
They do.
Care for the children. Um, I feel like they're really involved. They play off the sibling rivalry so so well. Um, so yeah, no. I absolutely love the Addams Family. I see their actual like family values in them and how much they adore Uncle Fester. And they've got all their little traditions. I am moving in with the Addams Family. Absolutely no problem.
Yeah, and again, it's something that it's that more than a little quirky, and it's okay because,
Yeah,
as you say, there's the values,
yeah,
and if you could just look past that,
yeah,
which is the way we should all be.
yeah.
Um, they're not. They're not. I mean, but then again, if you sit and think too much about it, they do kind of, you know, do kind of sadomasochistic torture the same way some people play Xbox, or, which I might not want to join in with.
Nobody's
But other than
perfect.
that,
Nobody's perfect, but
yeah.
really, so that era of Christina Ricci as a child Wednesday, I could really sort of get on board with that.
Do you go for that kind of the sort of like, the goth girl sort of image? Can you make that work for you?
If I needed to, I do have my hair in braids sometimes. My daughter is now 14. She's starting to go through a bit of that stage, a little bit. I think it's perfect for teens, the goth thing, because you get to have the black and the eyeliner, and you have like an instant community, within kind of the goth coziness. So yeah, I could, but I think in a way any aesthetic based community is a little too prescriptive for me. So I wouldn't want to do it like full
Yeah.
on. I would want to maybe dabble, but to give my own twist on that.
So one way or another, the 90s do keep popping up
Yeah.
in conversation, and you wouldn't know to look at us, but we were both there. Um, you wouldn't think it, would you? But we actually were. Um, is there is go on? Let's do both. Is there a 90s maybe like a fashion trend or something that you'd like to see come back? Uh, maybe something that we will pray to whatever gods and goddesses we believe in stays the hell in the 90s.
It's a really, really small thing. It's a really tiny thing, but I'd really like to see chokers coming back. I have a couple of chokers, not like the plastic awful ones. They were really, really
Yeah.
uncomfortable. But something like velvety. I think chokers are just so universally flattering. So I'd love to see chokers make a comeback. That's probably my biggest thing. I don't miss anything from the 80s. Nothing. Nothing, nothing. Not even the big hair, which I could do just coming out of the bath and, do its own thing. But the 90s, where I was, like 18, 19 when the 90s hit, and
Yeah.
wait, no, 15, 16. But they were the years that I cared. So,
Yeah,
so
I mean, I like you. I'm a child of the 80s, yes. I have a fondness for a lot of that stuff, definitely. But I grew up in the 90s,
yeah,
so all my adventures and a lot of life making experiences and things for better or worse, well, all for better, really. Life's too short to regret anything. Um,
yeah.
you know, we're in the 90s, and I feel like the 90s get a bad rap. This is why I want to bring it up. I had a small conversation with someone a few days ago, and I feel like the 90s get either completely overlooked, as if nothing happened of any
Yes.
great note,
So
or
much happened. Friends happened. Hair straighteners happened. You know, it was maybe a bit of an entertainment vacuum because the music was really,
oh,
really,
but I think, see, maybe in like previous decades there might have been something that was outright pretty much like created,
yeah,
so that's what it's known for. Like if the 70s is, I don't know, like punk or
disco,
prog or
yeah,
something, if the 80s is like new wave and synthesizers or whatever,
punk.
then the 90s is nothing, you know.
Then the 90s,
But it's
well,
like,
it was like Britpop and recycled. The 60s
which
came
was
back
the
in the
60s,
90s.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I kind of understand if people think like nothing happened in the 90s, but like everything is a derivative. Like
yeah, it is.
everything. I mean, whatever, if, if you take the music as an example, which is easy for me as a ex rock star, that's what I was. But, it's all just a derivative of like the blues anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
Whether
yeah,
it's from
not,
Elvis
we're not
all the
just
way
erasing, we're
through to
also
today.
appropriating like there's no tomorrow. Yes,
Yeah.
I think it's,
So
yeah, it's a
it,
very, very fair observation. It's,
it's just so like, but the night, what I thought was great about the 90s, I was making myself like a 90s playlist for music, and it made me start looking up I've been rewatching various 90s TV shows. I did the X-Files, of course, because the
oh,
X-Files, oh,
yeah.
man.
I never very, very deep in the X-Files. I was drunk for most of the 90s, so I don't remember that much after all. But I never got very into the X-Files, and I really know that I should.
Well, I mean, each to their own. I would like recommend it to everyone, but that's just me. And because to this day, I still just have a huge David Duchovny crush. I just think I if you're watching David, I will have your babies. Um, I just think he's amazing.
Really?
And he's just one of those like I can't quite put my finger on it,
I
But
like
I'll watch
like
anything
to.
he's in. I've read all his books. I listen to his podcast every week.
Yeah,
I just I can't get enough Duchovny. I think
that's
he's brilliant.
that's incredible. I've got to get going,
Not a problem.
babe, because my clan is about to come back from trampolining, which
Okay.
is terrifying. You don't want to have the camera on for that. Um, but it was a lot of fun to catch
Perfect.
up.
Always. Thank you very much for your time. Especially seeing as you're busy talking to
Thanks,
everyone else. And maybe even getting paid for some of it. Because some of it's like mainstream media, kids.
mainstream media.
There it is. There it is. Um,
I'm, I'm also I'm also in the Daily Star online today and
and,
in the Express online.
and whatever, and it must be true. If it's in the Daily Star, it must be true. So you can believe what you read in that article, kids.
The hardest working staff members there are the fact checkers. There is no mistake.
Hey,
No, please,
listen,
let me
thank
start
you very
here.
much.
Don't take it away.
Okay, can just do one quick thing for me to end the show, if you don't
Yeah.
mind. If you could just say for me, and you can do this however you want. If you want to just play it straight, if you want to do it comedically, if you want to give me something a little erotic, I won't say no. If you have a celebrity impersonation you'd like to throw out there all of a sudden, but if you could just end the show by saying for me, till next time, keep it foxy. That'd be beautiful.
Oh, till next time, keep it foxy.
Oh my God. That's ooh. If that could go on teenagers' bedroom walls, it would. You know what I mean.
Teenagers in the 90s.
Thank you very much for your time, kids. I'm Johnny Fox, as always. This has been Imbal Hannigan, tarot reader, psychic, amazing, beautiful, wonderful wife, mother, person in general. Maybe we'll do this again.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm and all that. Okay. I'll let you get to your clan. Bye for now.
Bye.